and they are coming in with a checklist, right? They are going
Yes.
in, and
Yes.
many of them are so well educated. You're going in and they are asking very precise questions about, do you do this? How do you do that? And what you could do is start building custom demos to show them, oh, this is how we do that. But the question is that the best way of trying to influence? And we believe that really focusing a lot on this early education is an important element. And the great news in here is that at this stage, you don't need custom demos, right? Because nobody expects them. They are doing their research. So this is exactly where your demo galleries on the websites come in. And of course, they need to be structured and they need to be thought through. So this is where you're structuring your content based on industries, on use cases, on personas, and really tailor the messaging on the benefits to this specific topic that somebody is looking for. But you're presenting your point of view, and I feel like this is a massive missed opportunity on behalf of many vendors, because they are getting everybody who is willing to interest to listen into the sales pipeline, and then they are educating them with custom demos one-on-one. So I think the first thing that we advocate is really educating and influencing very early on. And there are two benefits to it. First of all, you influence and you present your point of view and you participate in shaping this view of the world. The second thing is this disqualification element, right? So the ones that are only curious, they will go out and say, I'm not particularly, okay, that's not for me. I'm not even opting in to meet your sales team. Great. The ones that are coming in, they are leaving already trail of data. And that is this qualification information. And you're coming in and they obviously then building and serving next pieces of your rich story that we talked about already is already based on previously gathered information. And every interaction, if you're using interactive demo throughout your sales cycle, and if at every touch point there is an interactive demo, you're only gathering more and more information.
Yeah.
And from there, you have more to share, to influence. And so when it comes to a demo that converts, obviously it does have to be relevant, but relevant doesn't mean custom, right?
Yeah.
It does have to convey how you're going to solve what are the benefits, how you're going to be solving the problems, and so on and so on. And I think that in itself becomes, I think, this enterprise of demoing is not it's not one-off. It is a process. And it also gives you an opportunity to be influencing and kind of course correcting more frequently. Because if you wait with the demo till very late in the process, it's, you're building it up, this spans, and then you're showing, and it's either good or bad. If you break it down to smaller pieces, this influencing, you spread the risk, right? You see that resonates. Oh, awesome. We dive deeper. Oh, this doesn't. Okay, let's backpedal. That's fine. And that in itself is an art. And I think this is going this extra mile. This is exactly what our buyers want. This is the perfect experience for them, because they always get to see something new and some more information. And that's where we're also building this curiosity, right? Because they get another snag bite piece of information. They're like, wow, tell me more and tell me more. And they keep coming back asking for more. And that's how you convert them.
So what I really like about how you framed your response here is that, I mean, obviously there is on a tactical level, and this is oftentimes Jan and myself on this podcast, we talk about like demo tactics, right? You're in the meeting, like I'm doing my tell, show, tell, I'm doing my limbic opening and so on. But you approached the question from a sort of how to strategically utilize demos to actually educate buyers. And what you described, I mean, you used the term demo gallery, right? And if you go on like a typical SaaS software website. In fact, Jan and myself, we have done this exercise a couple of months ago where we just went on and we tried to find, okay, is there like a book or demo button, or what? How do you actually engage with this company if you would like to see software? And the reality is that, I mean, I don't have any statistics on it, right? But I would guess if I open up like random SaaS websites, like 9 out of 10 have this book or demo button. With one exception, and I need to make this an example because I really am still quite fond of this company. Seismic has recently, and I encourage everyone to have a look at that. They have actually publicly put up what you just described, basically a demo gallery where you can click on a video and you basically get like a 60-second breakdown of one particular use case. And it's just right. It's really nicely produced video. Where you can just understand how the software works and what the use case is and what pain point it solves. So I think this is like a first step in the direction that you are talking about, whereas I also heard you're talking about, okay, when we present our customers with, and I want to actually go in that topic, right? What's the difference between interactive demo and demo automation? I think it's worth exploring it. But the way I understood you is that you, with an interactive demo, to utilize that term, you can already also start gathering much more meaningful data around the behavior within the environment, so to say, which then, of course, you can leverage afterwards when you actually start engaging with the sales or pre-sales resource to work on an opportunity. And maybe that's a good transition here to talk about the difference. I mean, I think from a category point of view, the word demo automation has been quite dominant, at least in my personal perception when I go on LinkedIn and so on. Demo automation is often used. The term interactive demo I haven't heard as often. So maybe you can shed some light on this for us. Where do you see the difference between the two?
Yeah, so I perceive demo automation as a vehicle, as a process. It's a way of recording and distributing, recording, storing, and distributing the demos. But interactive and demo automation can be fueled by different assets, and it could be either let's say an interactive demo, a video demo, or whatever other way of presenting your tool to clients. So we at Demoboost, we definitely see ourselves as sitting within the demo automation, because we do automate the process of creating, storing, and distributing the demos. And what we use to fuel this process is an interactive demo. And interactive demo, in our definition, is and that's not only our definition, it's actually a definition of Gartner, who released a market guide earlier in the year. And they are talking about automated demonstration product or interactive demo product. And they refer to clones of an application that are being stored on vendors' cloud, that are guided, scripted, and narrated for the benefit of the visitor. Mm-hmm. So what it means in case of Demoboost, we are, or our extension is capturing the 100% of the front end of the application. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript ends up in Demoboost. We're capturing that. We're disconnecting that obviously from the back end, and later on we are using our tools to connect those screens in organized way, and we are adding narrative and all the bells and whistles to make those demos super engaging. So that's kind of how we see and define the categories.
Okay, so in simple terms, basically when I was a user interested in purchasing maybe or having a look at a certain software, an interactive demo would mean I click on show me the demo button and I get a user interface that is indistinguishable from the actual thing. I can navigate, I can use it, but it's enriched with maybe some advice, some guidance, some insights that help me to understand, okay, what I'm actually doing there, and completely disconnected from any type of backend where the actual function would reside.
That's it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And ideally, there's maybe some qualification and discovery process beforehand. So before you guide them into like one area of your interactive demo, you have raised a couple of questions. I don't know what role you are in, what industry you're looking for, and so on and so on. And then you can even tailor it without talking to that person, because you have put some thought into it beforehand.
Yeah, and that's when the magic comes in, right? Because there is a lot of talk about the value exchange when it comes to buyer and a salesperson, right? And this value exchange for a long time being negative because we are expecting a lot from the buyer and we're not giving them a lot in return. And what happens with interactive demo on your website? Imagine you're saying, hey, you are about to see a hyper-personalized demo for you. Just tell us what you're interested in. Are you in marketing, in sales, or what are you interested in? And then you see a different demo. And the value exchange, hey, you are absolutely willing to give a piece of information about yourself because you're getting something relevant in return. And that's when qualification becomes self-qualification, and you're gathering data that is true and reliable without really straining the relationship with the prospect. So 100%, that's a great use case for those demos.
Yeah, it's you. I think you hit a nerve there, right? Without sort of, I mean, we often have the discussion, Jan and myself, like, of course, we are big proponents of doing proper discovery, right? And discovery often in conversations with our sales colleagues, when you say, hey, let's do, I know you've scheduled a demo, but let's do actually a discovery call, then the AE already has sometimes a bit of concern that it's not going to be as valuable for the customer, because we're going, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the best practice, right? But sometimes it's a perceived interrogation. And I think in some cases, and myself, I'm also guilty of it, I have maybe converted some discovery calls into an interrogation. But it needs to be valuable, right? Everyone should leave such a meeting so both parties have the impression, okay, I really learned something, maybe about the industry, more about a best practice. And on the other hand, as on the vendor side, of course, we want to understand how well our solution really fits to the pain point that is perceived. So I really love that what you are thinking about here eliminates sort of that friction that sometimes buyers perceive when speaking to vendors. And speaking about friction, another thing that I have observed in some of the SaaS companies I've worked for, that, for example, where you have an SDR role or an AE role, in those early, let's say, not fully qualified opportunities yet or leads, it would really make sense, at least in my experience, to also, for these roles, SDRs and AEs, to actually to demo, right? And quite often it's actually not happening. So maybe an open question to you, Anna, like in your view and the picture that you're painting about how it could be better in the future, who should actually be able to demo?
And that's a super interesting, because when we talk to many organizations out there, the perception that we get is that in many different words or described in different ways, most of them wish that majority of or all of their revenue teams are always ready to demo. And it's a mantra. It's at our organization, we want everybody to be able to demo. And then we start digging deeper, and it turns out it's not the case. And we even identified a phenomenon that we called fear of demoing among AEs. And it sounds like a really a thing. So, and on one hand, the fear of demoing is very present